It's Saturday, that means it's fun with index. Let's go. Hi, everybody. What is up? It is Jade, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day thus far. Today, we are getting straight right into this video, and we're prepping. We're going to prep our index card, and we are going to be using some book pages. The printable I'll be using today is called Jesus Cares, and I am not using it in the sense of a journaling, but I'm using the elements as my focal point. Now I'm just going to be tearing down some of this book page. I have so many different types of book page here. There's that old storybook that my sister had that her daughter tore up, and so I inherited it, or should I say rescued it from the bin. And this is a goals book where you write down your goals. And I've been just taking pages from that to use in my layouts. I also have some coffee dyed paper. This is the storybook I'm talking about. This page is from Snow White. And I'm just using random pages. And I will also be using a bit of that paper bag that is underneath. As you see here, I'm not tearing it. I would like to encourage you to tear the page. I know it's crazy, but let me tell you, ripping up pages is so therapeutic. It relaxes me, it zens me. I'm just in another world when I'm ripping paper. Listen, before I could not rip the paper. I had to cut it. If it wasn't straight, I would cut and cut and cut, use a ruler and cut. But let me tell you something. When you start tearing that page, trust me, you are going to be so inspired at the different lines and jagged edges that you get. For me, that is what makes the page. I really like it. It adds dimension and texture. It is so fun. Now I'm going to be doing a little wax on this page as well. I haven't used this in a long time, and I'm like, okay, Jane, let's bring it back. Let's use it. Let's get it in good use. And so I'm just going to be putting 3 melts inside my spoon here, and I'm choosing kind of fall vibe color. So I have some red, like this crimson red, and I have this metallic orange, and I'm just now using my Woody. It's a water soluble crayon pencil. It's a 3-in-1 medium, and I'm just using that to put around my page, and then I'm going to dilute that with some water to make it more flowy and a little more organic. And I'll just be using the brush just really loose in my wrist, not tight, but just super loose. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm not holding the paintbrush right up to the top. I'm holding it into the center, which gives it more fluidity. I also took a piece of tissue, or paper towel, to smudge some of that gold ink, just because I didn't want to use a brush for it to be too uniform. I want it to be like blobs. And so that's the effect I was going for. And I'm glad that I was able to achieve it. Now I decided I needed more than the principle that I had. So I'm using the butterfly and number bits, and I'm taking a butterfly element from that kit. I'm also going to be using one of the one of the labels from the labels and tag printable, and these are cute from fall vibes. And I'll be using one of the elements from the Jesus Care printable that I said I was going to use originally. And now I'm just trimming down the edges. I have not gone ahead and fussy cut these printables just yet, so I have to be cutting elements that I want from that. Now I'm just going to rearrange these elements on my page, and of course I'm a little bit indecisive about what I want to use. I know sometimes you are like that too. And so sometimes we have to play around with placement until it's pleasing to the eye. And then I'm just going to glue everything down. I went ahead and I continued with the first three pieces that I placed on my page. Sometimes that's what happens. The first set of things that we put on, that's what's supposed to be there. But sometimes we second guess ourselves. We get into the habit of second guessing, which sometimes it's a good thing, but more 9 out of 10, it's not. Just stick with the initial elements that you thought of using before. Now I'm just going around some of the elements again with that black, but this time I'm wetting the paintbrush and I'm just rubbing it onto the crayon pencil, and then I'm just going to go around it. So there's two ways you can use it. You can scribble it onto the page and dilute it with the water, or you can use a paintbrush and rub it onto the crayon pencil and then just go ahead and put it on the page, and it works beautifully. I will also caution you, if you're going to add wet mediums to your page, you want to add this to the end just because it will reactivate with water. And so if you're going to be using the woody 3-in-1, I love it. But if you're going to be using it, you're going to need to use it last, because if you put anything wet like paint or so over top, it will smudge, it will reactivate, unless you're going to use a sealant and seal it before. But 9 out of 10, we're not doing that. If we're doing Bible journaling or just a simple craft, we're not doing that unless we are planning to sell that. So just use it towards the end. Now here, my wax was not melting well. It wasn't pouring out of the spoon because I know that 3, I've played around and I know that 3 is enough. However, I'm thinking maybe because I had the fan on, it was cooling down the wax pretty quickly, but I was hot. I had to have the fan on. And so all that wax, as you can see there, is in the spoon. And so, I mean, what am I going to do? I still did what I did. It wasn't as pretty and big and fluffy as I would like, but that's what happens sometimes, you know. We start creating, it doesn't turn out the way we intended it to. What are we going to do? Abandon it? I am not going to abandon it, because sometimes we have a vision and it doesn't quite turn out that way, but that is okay. We have to develop a healthy relationship with ourselves and our creating, that, you know, it's not always going to come out exactly as how we envision it, but the most important thing is that you follow through and you stick through and count it as experience. Now, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Every Saturday we are doing a fun with index, so we're just playing around on these index cards. On the screen you'll see 2 videos, one selected by me and one by YouTube, and I would consider joining me in the next video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.